How we doing, guys? How we doing? Welcome. Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. You guys can hear me, yeah? Nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, it's 12 o'clock now, so we'll give like 5 minutes here. And then we'll fire it up. How's everyone doing? How are we feeling about this market? It's been tricky. It's been ugly and it's been tricky the last little bit. Hope you guys aren't going too crazy chopping yourselves up. OBOS will be a good tool for you guys to use too, to understand when to get into the market for those that aren't using it already or don't know how it works. Yeah, I'm actually thinking, like on Native's point there, of the combo divs, I'm thinking of adding a final masterclass on combo divs and how you guys can use them. Because to be honest with you, it's one of the most important and useful tools that we have inside the Discord. So I think it does deserve a masterclass. Because if you know how to use it properly, I mean, you can save yourself a lot of money and you can catch some really big reversals in the market and just have like an overall read on kind of where things are, when to push the gas, when to take it easy. So I think I'm going to add that in after. There's no reason not to. It's proven itself out over quite a while now to just be insanely helpful in at least spotting potential reversals. And then when the reversals do happen, you know, it's usually catching every single one of them. So it's kind of a pattern to it. Give another minute or two here. Let some people join up. All right, I'm going to share my screen. You guys let me know if you can see it. All right, it should be shared there. So let me know in the chat if you see it. Also, let me know in the chat how many of you are actually using the OBOS bots as well. Curious. Just put an emoji or something, doesn't matter. But if you can see my screen, just let me know. Oh, let's go. Welcome, welcome. These master classes that I'm putting on every week are kind of going in depth on specific bots that we offer. So last week we did the RSI bots. I'll show you. Someone can link him to the recording section, just show him where that is. But we have a ton of education, and I'll show you different places in the Discord here on this stream where you can access that to figure out how to use the bots. And then, yeah, these master classes are going in depth to give you guys, you know, top to bottom on the specific bots. So, but welcome to the group. It's good to have you. You guys can see my screen, eh? Someone just let me know in the chat before I start here. All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, so let's get into it. So we're going to go over an overview of what the OBOS bots are. So for those that don't know what OBOS stands for, that stands for overbought, oversold. And this bot is going to be using the RSI. And so above the 70 mark here on the RSI is what is considered overbought. Below the 30 mark here on the RSI is what is considered oversold. These specific zones are where you would expect a reversal to happen. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. Price can hold there and gravitate there and even go higher. But these are the statistical mathematical areas where you can expect a reversal in the market. So what our OBOS bot does inside the Discord, as you can see, we have 5 different ones. We have the daily, 4-hour, 1 hour, the 30-minute, and the 15-minute. So on the respective time frame, whether that's the daily, 4-hour, whatever, every time a 4-hour candle closes or a 1-hour candle closes, you will be updated in here with an alert. This is what the alerts look like, and I'm going to break it down for you. So across the entire altcoin market, Bitcoin and Ethereum included, it's going to tell you which coins are either overbought or oversold on their RSI. And like I said, these are the areas on the RSI that you can expect a reversal, where you can look and start to find triggers for a reversal. And this bot is going to point them out specifically on every close for you. So you don't have to go searching hundreds of coins in the market. You know, you can save a ton of time just by looking at these alerts every close. So we break it down for you guys by high caps, mid caps, and low caps. Now this gives you the ability to decide what you want to actually trade. So high caps are going to be your coins with like much higher market caps, Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, Doge, things like that. And then obviously as it goes down, they get lower. And like, for instance, the low caps are much more volatile coins. You know, they can be harder to trade, but you can also catch bigger moves on them. So we kind of differentiate this information for you guys so that you can choose where you want to trade and what you want to trade. Now you're going to see some that have this here, this RSI 7, RSI 8, and RSI 31. Now, when you see this, this is telling you that not only is the coin for this read here oversold on the 1 hour, but this is telling you that you also have an RSI divergence. So this bot is extremely useful because if you have an RSI divergence, and anyone who was here in the last session or who uses RSI divergences even knows how they work, if you have an RSI divergence in oversold or overbought territory, the likelihood of that trade reversing is much, much higher than it just being oversold or overbought. So this is telling you that, like, you know, these are even higher likelihood trades to play out on these specific coins. So it gives you the ability to kind of look, you know, whether that's high caps, mid caps, whether the coins have divergences or whatever. And this number in between here just means how many candles between. So the first peak of the RSI happened, and then 19 candles later, the next sweep happened. And that's just what that means, so you understand. So this is just the basic RSI indicator, nothing special. Everyone has access to the RSI indicator. It's just a free indicator. And these 70 and 30 mark, I believe, are the standards. So you will just have this standard setup. Mine's just customized to colors and whatever. But like I said, anything above this 70 mark is considered overbought, and anything below the 30 mark is considered oversold. Now, when a coin closes like this here, you can see we sold off real hard on this candle. The RSI was down here in the oversold territory. When the candle closed, you would have got the alert in the Discord. That's how it works. It lets you know this coin is oversold. You know, open up the charts, do your general TA, look for additional triggers or confluences, and there could be a trade here. So it really cuts down the time that you have to search charts, hundreds of charts, you know, whether you work a full-time job, whatever. You really can just use these bots to open up the charts and understand where and when to trade. So that is the overview of the OBOS bots. If anyone has any questions, let me know. If it's all clear, we'll just continue to go on into how you can trade them, how you can swing with them, and how you can scalp with them. But this is your guys' time. If there's anything that doesn't make sense, if you're curious about what these reads mean in the Discord, anything like that, or even just RSI in general, just let me know. All right. And feel free to ask questions at any point during this as well. So let's dive into it though. So there's higher time frame and lower time frame. We're going to break them both down, and we're going to look at how you can swing trade on the higher time frames and look for potential, higher time frame reversals from these areas and these reads. And then we're also going to look at how you can scalp on the lower time frames. So I have some reads here on Bitcoin to show you guys what it actually looks like. So what the alert looks like, what price looks like, what it looks like on the RSI, and kind of how it plays out. So we can see here, this read here, this was from the news when Jerome Powell was speaking at Jackson's Hole, and we got a big move up. And you can see here, we got into the overbought territory, right? We were above the 70 mark on the RSI. So you got this read in the Discord telling you that on the 30-minute time frame, BTC is overbought. Same with these other coins here. Now, when this happened, this is what it looked like. Price was up here. You could clearly see on your RSI that it was overbought. So this is your area, your trigger, the bot alert, which is telling you that a potential reversal or even just a pullback is close because we're in overbought territory now. And obviously you can see what happened. This ended up marking out the top. Things played out all the way down into here. And you can see there's a few times where Bitcoin went into oversold territory, right? You would have received an alert here. And you can see even from there, we had somewhat of a pump. Comes down here. Again, it was oversold. Got somewhat of a pump. And again, it comes down. So you would have got alerts for all three of these. I'm just highlighting some key ones for you guys. And I suggest you go into the Discord and back test this all yourself. Look through the data, the alerts, kind of understand how it looks in the charts and how you can use these in your day-to-day trading. But you can see here, this is an instance where there was also an RSI divergence like I was speaking about. So Bitcoin came down. Again, we were in that oversold territory below the 30 mark on RSI, marked out here in the circles. Now, this one also tells you that Bitcoin had an RSI divergence. So you can see here that we had the div, and it's highlighted with like the RSI. And it would also tell you in the OBOS alert, right? So, the likelihood of this playing out is much higher. Anyways, if you got positioned, ton of altcoins had alerts here as well for divergences, and you can see that this one played out. But, these are big moves, right? Like you can catch intraday reversals, like a 6% on Bitcoin is great, right? The 30-minute overbought alert marked out the top here. There was multiple oversold alerts, which you could have caught each bounce. The one that ended up having the divergence and being oversold ended up playing out for, 3-4% move, which is great on Bitcoin and ETH. So now you can use these to scalp altcoins. And one of the best ways, and the same things that I covered in the RSI divergence bots, is when Bitcoin and ETH have an RSI divergence, you can look to altcoins as well, because it's indicating that the majors, Bitcoin and ETH, are probably going to see a reversal, which means altcoins also are, as they act beta to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So we're going to look here at the scalping with OBOS now. And what we're going to look at, I believe it's this one here. Yeah, so what we're going to look at here is 30-minute OBOS alerts on alts that were given at the same time that you got this one here. And in fact, it's going to be this exact same alert. Like you can see that when the alert came in, it wasn't just Bitcoin. You had BCH, you had BNB, LDO, things like that. So we're going to take a look now at other coins that came on the same alert at the same time that Bitcoin told you that it's overbought, indicating a potential reversal. So if we look here at BCH, so we can see here that BCH was overbought, 84 read on the RSI. Like this is really high. You're getting way up there. And so basically when you get these alerts, you can tie in your general TA. Do we have divergences? Have we swept key liquidity? Are we trading into support or resistance? Are we trading into supply or demand? But like these alerts are really going to cut down your time, because you could have just opened up this chart, seen that across the whole altcoin market, BCH was the most overbought on the 30-minute time frame when Bitcoin was flashing a potential reversal on like the intraday. You could have just opened up this chart. You don't even have to search through all your charts, try and remember which ones have this, have that, kind of information overload on where you want to trade, what you want to trade. This alert tells you exactly where to look and exactly when. And you can see here, we came up, we traded right into H1 supply. So we traded right into a supply. We swept all of this liquidity on the move up. And now it's telling you that it's extremely overbought. Same with Bitcoin, potential reversal coming. This tells you, okay, you could look for a position on BCH. You have the triggers there. You have some general TA telling you that you're trading into a resistance zone, and our bots are telling you that this is overbought, flashing basically look for reversal. And you can see what happened here. So at the same time Bitcoin gave that alert, you also had the alert on BCH, and you could have easily caught quite a big move down. It's like 12% over the next 2-3 days. More alerts in the exact same spot that you got the alerts for Bitcoin. We have Morpho again, right? The exact same alert where it came in for Bitcoin. Now Morpho traded up. Again, you can see here, we came into the overbought territory, flashed it here. And what happened? The complete reversal from this spot. This thing has just been trending down ever since. So depending where you got in, it's like a 30% move. Now, you can also use it as okay, maybe this marks out like an intraday reversal, right? Come down here, and you can see that this puts in a lower high. So even if you missed this here, you could have got into something like this, whether you got stop break even and you re-entered with stops above the next swing point here, whatever it is. But it's telling you that a potential reversal is here, you're overbought, and you can see how this played out. Next here, we have ENA, same thing, same alert, exact same time. So we have ENA showing you that this is overbought, and you can see price is trending up, your RSI is trending down. There's a divergence in the momentum regardless of price going up. Again, what happens? You sweep all of this liquidity, you trade up into the 1 hour supply. So you have multiple triggers telling you that this is into resistance, and you have our bot telling you okay, this is a coin of interest, go take a look, this could play out. And again, same spot, anywhere you enter, whatever, right? Another 20% move. And there are hundreds of alts that you can go through, that you can backtest, that you can use yourself to understand exactly how these play out. I'm just showing you guys some examples. So now we have LDO. So LDO, again, we can see here, this is a resistance. Price has not been able to trade above this level. You get the alert that LDO is trading up into the overbought zone. The bot alert inside the Discord triggers and lets you know. And you can see what happened. We got a reversal from here. Now you can see here that we even spiked up again, and you would have had another overbought alert inside the Discord, right? We swept this liquidity. You're once again overbought, and you can see what happens. Reversal again. 2 different entries there. So this is how you can use the OBOS bots to help. And you don't have to tie it in with Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is just a really easy way for you guys to know that if Bitcoin and Ethereum have, a 15-minute or a 30-minute divergence, and you find altcoins with the same thing, if Bitcoin and ETH are overbought or oversold, and you see altcoins are also in the alerts as overbought or oversold, you just have additional confidence that a potential reversal is coming. So if things are trading into resistance, if we've swept liquidity, right, all of the different ways that you trade as the specific trader, you can apply to this. But that's basically how you can use this. And I use for scalping the 15-minute, the 30-minute, and the 1 hour. And again, even if you work a full-time job, you could sign on and see every hour that there's 1 hour alerts, right? You don't have to sit here, go through hundreds of charts, information overload. We're going to tell you exactly where and when to trade. Now you can combine the OBOS bots with the divergence bots. So if it's also saying that you have divergences flashing, and you're also showing that it's oversold, right? You just have more confluences to take the trade. We really just hand you all of these triggers and confluences for you to kind of look at and sift through in order to make trades, saving you tons of time. And the people inside of Gold Chat who have access to these bots, who have really applied themselves and learned, literally make money every day with these bots. Just the same process over and over and over. And so it takes a bit of back testing on your end. It takes, getting active in the community, asking questions, and you can really create strategies from even just the OBOS bot. But you can start to combine bots as well, and it becomes really easy and intuitive for you to find trades every single day. So I kind of covered the scalping there on the OBOS bots, which is like the 1 hour, the 30 minute, the 15 minute. So I'm just, again, going to open it up. If you guys have any questions about how these bots work, what it means, and how you scalp them, just like let me know. Is it better to wait for the OBOS bot to show which ones have divergence? Like that's a higher hit rate, right? Yeah, I mean, as a whole, if you are overbought or oversold, now it doesn't mean everyone's going to play out as a higher hit rate because it's all statistical. But like statistically speaking, if you have a divergence, either bullish or bearish, in oversold or overbought territory, the likelihood of that reversing is higher than if you don't. Now, there's infinite other things that go into it, like liquidity and how overbought, oversold you are. But like general rule, and I trade divergences and have traded divergences for, a year and a half specifically, both with these bots and in different strategies. And the higher hit rate trades are the ones that are overbought or oversold with a divergence, 100%. So if you just want to trade the ones that have divergences, right? We literally tell you that. So you can open up these charts and look for your own triggers and which one looks good, which one doesn't, which one's trading into my different personal triggers, or you can look at the ones that have divergences. And it's just telling you that these ones have additional triggers already here for you, showing that there is a divergence and it's in oversold territory. So the higher hit rate trades are going to be the ones that have those divergences, like I said. Appreciate you asking, Kirby. You guys have any other questions on kind of the lower time frame OBOS? And again, you don't need to tie these in with Bitcoin and Ethereum. You can literally just use these alerts, right? As long as the market's at support and you're looking for oversold coins that are on 1 hour, 30 minute, 50 minute, you can trade those, right? I'm just showing you that if you tie it in with understanding Bitcoin and ETH are at potential reversal zones, it becomes really easy. But if you are a trader, you have your own style and triggers and confluences, you can just use these bots to understand where and when you should be looking for a trade and then do your own thing. But this scans the entire altcoin market and gives you this data every time a 30 minute closes, every time a 15 minute closes, it just presents it right to you. These are the coins. This is where they are in the RSI. Open up the charts, do your thing. Skips you all the time in the world of looking through your own 100, trying to keep track of it all. All right, no more questions. So we'll go into how to swing trade then. And again, charts are fractal. So the 30 minute, the 15 minute, the 1 hour, it's all the same thing as the 4 hour and the daily. It's just bigger time frames. So your invalidations might be a little wider. They're going to take longer to play out. So the 15 minute, 30 minute, and 1 hour scalps, they're going to play out over a few hours to maybe 2-3 days or even a bit longer. But your swing trades, and we're talking about the 4 hour and the daily, these are going to play out over, a week to up to a month plus. These are your higher time frame pivot points, your higher time frame reversals. I'll show you exactly what I mean here. So if we look at the 4 hour on Bitcoin, the last times that the RSI was flashing either oversold or overbought are here on the chart, just since the start of August. So what we had here was Bitcoin oversold on the 4 hour. So on higher time frames, this is indicating to you that a potential reversal across the market, a potential bottom for the next few weeks is close, right? The triggers are there. We're now oversold. You can expect a bounce, right? You're not looking to necessarily short down here. You're at least going to get some sort of intraday bounce at some point, and you could short that or whatever. But this is kind of telling you that we're oversold. We've been selling off since the high at, the middle of July. Price has just been chopping, came down, but now we're into that actual oversold territory. So this is where you can look for swing trades, right? This is where you can look to get long on your favorite coins, the strongest coins in the market, and hold these over the next week, 2 weeks to a month or longer, right? This could signify the bottom or could have for the bigger rally up to 150 plus, whatever. But this is telling you that on a higher time frame, you can expect some sort of potential, right? Like these aren't just absolutes, because nothing in trading is absolutes. These are all pieces of information that you need to interpret with context of where we are in the market and identify opportunities. But this just points it out for you. But anyways, you can see what happened, right? We ended up bottoming out once this became oversold, and we rallied up. We rallied up all the way on the RSI here until we became overbought. So we popped above the 70, and now you're getting overbought reads. So if you got long on swings down here, if you entered any coins here to hold over the next few weeks to a month, you would be taking some profits here. You're not entering fresh longs here, the same way you're not entering fresh shorts here when we're oversold. And you're not entering fresh longs when we're overbought. And if you are, you shouldn't be. You should be using these pieces of information and this data to understand that this isn't the time to be, getting frothy on the market and thinking, okay, we're going, like, even if we are going to all-time highs and pushing past, we're most likely going to see some resistance and potential pullback here, which we did, right? Which we did. And so this is where you're taking profits on any long positions from down here, or, you're starting to hedge a bit on your long exposure. And we get the pullback, we push back up. Again, this time we sweep all-time high and make a fresh all-time high. But what happens again, right? We're back into that overbought territory. We get that candle close just above previous all-time high, but we sell off immediately. And this again, now marked out the top until we come all the way back down. We start getting into these oversold territories. We get that bounce. And now once again, pushing down, right? So now I'm going to show you how you can tie in taking alt trades in line and in sync with when Bitcoin is making these overbought, oversold alerts. So we're going to take a look at swing trades now. Again, same thing for simplicity. I'm taking the exact same alert that I showed you. And I think it's the same alert. Let me see here. Might not be the same. Yeah, so same alert, right? Sol, Ave, ETC, fill. Come down here. Sol, Ave, ETC, fill. I just don't have the full long card, but this is the exact same 4-hour oversold alert that you got across the whole market. So Bitcoin was showing that it was oversold, but so did all these alts. So if you're looking for your favorite alts to trade, to get swing long on, like Sol, for instance, we came down, we swept this liquidity. You have a beautiful sweep in SFP of this liquidity. You have oversold 4-hour 22, right? Like this is low. This is very low on the RSI here. Like this is screaming to you that a bounce is close. Whether that bounce goes to new highs, it doesn't matter. That bounce is just like, even if it is just a mechanical bounce to get short here for another lower high, it doesn't matter. Like we are close to a point where things are way too oversold. And so, what happened, right? Clean SFP here, you tie in some other technical analysis in whichever way that you trade. And, that was the bottom there. That was the bottom. And what happens here? I don't have these cards on here, but I don't even need to. What happens here? We rally up until we then become overbought. You would have had alerts telling you you're overbought. You take profits from your positions down here as we've just swept the highs, right? From one side to the other. Now what happens? RSI resets a bit, come back, we poke back into overbought. This is a place where you're not really looking to get long. If we do flip for sure, but like you need a bit of a reset. We reset again, come back up, and now we're making like divergences. But you can see where these alerts come in on the higher time frames, and you can really go and back test and see the effectiveness of like how you can look to swing positions using these OBOS bots. So that's one example. We then have Aave, same alert, exact same thing. Same thing, right? We come down, we sweep all of this liquidity. You get the alert telling you that Aave on the 4-hour is oversold. You can see the RSI here, deep down oversold. And again, it's as simple as like looking for a position here. If that's what you want to do. Bitcoin's telling you it's potentially putting in a bottom. And what do? We rally up until even here. We get overbought in here, right? And you can see we didn't get that big of a pullback, but we didn't continue higher. Like it still needed to cool off. We cool off, we come back again, overbought. What happens when we're overbought? We pull back. Again, we rally, overbought once again. What happens? Pull back. We would have had alerts here. You would have had alerts here. And you would have had alerts here inside the Discord telling you, okay, Abe's overbought. You know, it's not the place to look for longs. If you're in from lower, take some profits or look for some shorts, right? Whatever you want to do. But these aren't the places to long. This isn't the place to short. So it really gives you an understanding on the higher time frame of how you should be operating, what you should be looking for. So that's Aave. We then have ETC, exact same alert. You know, it's all the same thing. And I highly suggest you guys take the time to go and back test this yourself and build out your strategies and understand how you can use these bots, because understanding even just the RSI bots themselves or the OBOS bots or the Monday range bot, you know, any of the bots that we offer, there are strategies that that I already teach you guys in the education, and then these master classes which go into each one. And you can take any one set of these bots and build a profitable strategy where you just trade that every single day. And again, ETC, oversold 4 hour. You can see here what happens. We rally all the way until we're overbought. Once we're overbought, gets pullback. Again here, overbought, pullback. And the thing to understand too is like, here we're overbought. I guarantee we go back to the Bitcoin chart, it's the same thing, right? It's the same spots, right? So this is when Bitcoin rallied here. We got that move where alts actually started outperforming, and that was from the Jackson hole. And you could tie that in with understanding that, like, okay, Bitcoin started losing momentum. We swept this liquidity before this recent move down. Like we SFP'd this 3 candles we did not close above, sign of weakness. At that exact same time that rally happened, you had ETC doing this, showing that it was overbought, telling you like, okay, you know, we are into resistance here. This is where price is struggling to get above. Bitcoin swept, it was showing weakness. You had ETC saying to you, I'm overbought on the 4 hour, you know, reversal potentially. And what happened, right? Plays down for, let's see, you know, just under 20%. So we have here Radium. So these are going to show you some of the now instances where we go overbought. I was showing you the oversold ones. So this here, the date is the 13th of August. We go to the Bitcoin chart. The 13th of August is here when Bitcoin made its new all-time high and started losing weakness, right? This is a very lackluster break of all-time high. This is not what you want to see. And you had all of these you had these next two showing you that they were overbought at the same time that Bitcoin did that. So Bitcoin sweeps all-time high, shows weakness, and then these alts are now also showing you that they are overbought and potentially looking for a short. And Radium again has that RSI divergence example. So you can see not only was it overbought, it also had an RSI div for you here. Just another confluence for you to open up the charts with more confidence to take the trade. You know, this one played out for 22%. And then it was the same thing on TRX here. TRX rallied extremely hard. And at the same time that Bitcoin swept all-time high, this is where TRX was. You can see how overbought this one was. This was like screaming for a pullback, even though TRX is like pretty difficult to trade sometimes. And you can see here was the most overbought coin on the 4 hour on this read, and it ended up marking out the top. See here, this played out for, you know, just about 10%. So that's the rundown on how you can use scalping. And again, you don't need to use Bitcoin and Ethereum in the OBOS alerts to then look for alts. Our bots are going to tell you across the whole market when any coin is overbought or oversold. I'm just showing you guys for context how you can kind of tie it in to make things a little bit easier, you know, understand where the market is in terms of the majors, Bitcoin and ETH with our bots, and then understand what you're looking for, the different alts you want to play, and what direction you want to play. So let me know now if you guys have any questions on the swinging with the OBOS. And at this point, let me know if you have questions whatsoever, on RSI, Woodsbot itself, the OBOS bots, just anything now, because this is what I wanted to show you guys. I wanted to explain what the OBOS bots are, how to read the RSI, how you can scalp with the OBOS bots, and how you can swing with them. So yeah, no problem. Thank you for that. Like I said, I'm glad you're here. I'm going to show you something on stream now. What we have here is the bot education section. So if you haven't been introduced to this yet, I suggest coming in here. We're going to be uploading the masterclasses in here as we go. But what I've done in here is I've built out specific strategies for you guys. So depending, whatever you want to trade, right? Whatever bot you want to trade, there is a strategy with these specific bots and like a 5-minute explainer video for you on how to trade. And this is like how to trade every day, right? You can just go and backtest this and apply this every day. Just any of these. So we have RSI divergences plus support resistance levels. We have basically what I'm explaining, but with OBOS, how you can trade BTC and ETH, M30 divs or OBOS into the altcoin divs or OBOS. Next session, we're going to cover Monday's range, but I have here education for you guys on that. Just there's so much education on different strategies, and you can implement and understand and learn one of these and be profitable every day. And we have, infinite amounts of data inside this Discord that you can go and backtest and just put it on your chart, see how it played out, learn the patterns, understand the pattern recognition, and build your strategies. So on top of that, I also give you guys bot alpha, right? So I'm going to teach you how to build a daily bias with Woodsbot, how to sign on and within 10 minutes understand, should I be looking to long? Should I be looking to short? Are we trending or are we ranging, right? Understanding where the market is and how you should be operating for that day in 5-10 minutes. Again, lay out all the bots for you, give you a video you can follow. I teach you how to scalp using all the different bots. I teach you how to swing trade using all the different bots. I teach you how to trade ranging conditions with our bots, because ranging conditions are the hardest conditions to trade. I teach you guys how to be profitable using our bots specifically inside of ranging conditions. Teach you how to trade trending conditions, teach you how to find coins in low volume conditions like weekends and long weekends, and when the market's in a lull. And then this one too, this one's important because I teach you how to backtest and find additional bot confluence with Woodsbot, because it may seem overwhelming to begin with, right? It's like, how do I go through all these bots and tie them together? There's really simple search functions where you can just look up the different specific bots themselves. You can look up coins within all of the different bots. There's very easy search functions that you guys can implement in the top right search to find and backtest all of this stuff I'm teaching you. And then the bot overview tells you just each individual bot, what they do and how they operate. And then I'll be putting the masterclasses as we go together for you guys in here for the more in-depth, hour and a half long, how to trade RSI divs, how to trade OBOS, how to trade Monday range, on and on. So just anyone who's new, anyone who doesn't know that this exists yet, please poke through this. Please take the time to understand and go through this stuff. I'm telling you, if you apply it, if you backtest, you can develop a strategy that you can trade every single day with our tools. So just want to make everyone aware that this exists. And for anyone who is new and thinking about how to trade, no, we have extensive education for you guys. I run live streams every single week. We bring other traders up who have had success before. I cover the bots, I cover general market, full FAQ, we cover psychology, all of it. So yeah, we'll be posting this, Yashiro. So also inside of here, guys, recordings. This was the Woodsbot Masterclass session 1 here, so that you can find it on YouTube, what we cover. And then these are all the previous weekly streams with all the different things that I cover on the specific bots, bringing other traders up to talk about their experience, roundtables. So lots and lots of alpha in here for you guys to learn. Yeah, Mochin, definitely. not only do we just provide these tools and bots for free for you guys too, right? It's just all you do is sign up to a ref link. Like there's no monthly cost, there's no hidden fees, nothing. But like, we invest so heavily into your guys' education because at the end of the day, I just want to see, each and every one of you come in here, apply the things that we've built and change your life. I want you guys to succeed. We have a huge opportunity in this market over the next 6, 12, 18 months to do that. So I'm doing everything that I can to prepare you guys for that, to give you the education on the tools that we offer, because that's what Woodsbot is all about. We literally just want all of you guys to succeed, and just know that our community operates off those same values and principles. So anyone who's new or anyone who's thinking about it, it's like any question you ask is answered. Anything you want to know, all the education, there's no bullshit, there's no negativity. This is a very positive community where everyone just wants to see everyone succeed. So anyone who's new, welcome. Anyone who's thinking about joining, ask any questions you have in general or questions. We'll be happy to answer them. And just know, like we're investing into your guys' success here. But that's all I had in terms of the OBOS Masterclass. So again, this is your guys' time to ask questions, to clear anything up. Yeah, no problem, Motion. Welcome as well. It's good to have you guys. I haven't seen your name before, so thank you, Yashiro. Appreciate that. And I appreciate you guys coming through and asking questions and stuff. I have been in your position before where I didn't know how to trade. And like the number one thing that boosted my success, there's two things. One was community, and that's Wealth Group. I found Wealth Group. That absolutely changed everything for me. I got involved in the community. I started learning to trade with other people, asking questions. And that, again, that's the second thing right there, is asking questions. I wouldn't have seen any success in trading anywhere near what I have now if I wasn't curious and getting out of my comfort zone and asking questions and, getting involved in workshops and things like that. So just know there's no stupid question. It doesn't matter what you ask. It's like, I'm here, I'm willing to answer. The whole community is. So just always know that. Yep, we have everything you could need. Any questions on direction in terms of like where you should start and stuff, just let me know in the chats. Yeah, of course. Thank you for coming on and asking questions. Appreciate it. But yeah, I'll leave it open here for another 5 minutes or so, just in questions they want to ask. Otherwise, we'll wrap this one up. I got to be somewhere in 15 minutes. So we made this one kind of short and precise. I gave you guys, I think, all of the information you need from top to bottom in terms of what our bots are, what they look like, what overbought, oversold is on the RSI, and how to use them depending on what kind of trader you are. So yeah, no problem. Like I said, just hit me up or anyone in the gold chat and stuff. So it's just normal RSI. I mean, it's just RSI length 14. Like I haven't changed literally anything except what it looks like. So if we look style, I mean, it's just changed that. But like upper band 70, lower band 30, that's those limits I was telling you. So anything above 70 is overbought, anything below 30 is oversold, and just, dotted line in the middle, 50 mark of the RSI. What other confluence would work well with this too? Honestly, probably the easiest and most relevant for all traders to tie in divergences and OBOS with is support and resistance and supply and demand. Very simple. There's infinite things to learn about supply and demand, support resistance on YouTube as well. And I'll put together some educational stuff. And I know Woods is doing a lot of educational stuff too, so I'm sure he'll cover all that. And once we have that, we can, tie that in. But I would say just keep it simple. Use either supply and demand, if you're comfortable with that, if you know how that works, or support and resistance. If you have divergences or you have price being overbought or oversold into supply demand or into support resistance, it makes for very easy trades. And if you understand how to find support resistance and find supply and demand, all you need to do is look at the alerts that come in, open up your charts, take 30 seconds to do your general TA, and you'll understand if it's in a reversal zone, if it's losing momentum with the RSI div, if it's overbought, oversold, and it'll become very easy to build a strategy off that. All right, guys. I think that's it. No more questions coming through. So I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate you guys asking questions. Next week, we're going to cover Monday's range and a masterclass on that. Another great tool that we have that I feel like is probably a bit underutilized in here, myself included. So we'll cover that in depth. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you coming through. To anyone who's new and is curious about what we offer, how to join, just let us know in questions or general or open up a ticket. Our support's happy to help. And anyone who's new and has joined into gold, like, welcome. It's good to have you here. Let's keep pushing. There's a ton of opportunity in the next 6 to 12 months. We have a great community here. Happy to have you guys. And yeah, just get curious, start learning, start contributing. Let's just continue to help each other win. And let's make it happen. Next week, we'll come back with Monday range. Appreciate it, Levi. Appreciate you, Kirby, Redneck, all you guys. Have a good weekend. Again, I'll be in the chat. Let me know if you need anything, and I'll talk to you guys later.